Hey guys, it's KK and I'm back with another process video. I'm going to start out with this sheet of diagonal striped tone-on-tone paper from Echo Park for my background, and I'm going to frame it with a sheet of aqua cardstock. So I'm using the hashtag summer collection from American Crafts, and I'm just going to take a couple of sheets of this 6x6 paper and I'm going to layer them up right there in the center of the page. This one, as you can tell, I've already used, but I went ahead and used it for this background because you're not going to notice anyway. So I make sure I layer them unevenly, and at the bottom they just seem to be floating there in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sheet of alphabet soup paper from My Mind's Eye, and I'm going to just create a strip down at the bottom so I can have somewhere for these two papers to be grounded. So once I get that down, I'm going to go ahead and start working with the photo. And the photo that I'm working with is actually a photo strip from a photo booth, and so it's a really small photo, so I want to go ahead and put some frame around it so that way it can kind of get some more weight to it so it doesn't get lost in all those papers. So I take this yellow sheet of cardstock and I make a frame for it. Now once I lay this down, I'm going to notice that it's still floating. It's not anchored. It's kind of lost in there and it needs something else. So what I decide to do is just take that black sheet of cardstock and I create the tiniest frame around it. And I think that this black is going to not only help anchor it, but it's also going to give it something that makes it stand out and kind of pop against those colors. So I like that, and I go ahead and get that down. And I'm going to go ahead and start trying to embellish it. So what I do next is I take a piece of the pattern paper that came in that 6x6 pad, and I just cut like a 3x4 card, and I put that over there to the right hand side. Also in the 6x6 pad there were some cut apart sheets, so I went ahead and started cutting that apart and trying to figure out where I could place a couple of these little like journaling cards. One thing I really like about journaling cards and little 3x4 project life cards and stuff like that is the fact that when you put them down on a layout, I often use those to kind of anchor my embellishments, and I kind of make everything fit in that little area because it kind of gives a lot of I guess a big presence, but in a very small area, so you don't need as much stuff to fill the page up. So I just took a strip from the pattern paper and adhered it down there at the bottom, and I'm still trying to figure out where to put that journaling card. It doesn't have to be that one in particular, I just want one journaling card, one little spot. So I'm going to adhere this down, and it's just the days of the week. And then there's that little strip of cut aparts that you can see to the left. At this point I'm kind of frustrated, so I go ahead and get out my alphas and start putting down my title. And so there's going to be two parts to the title. The first part is in this October afternoon alphabet, and then the top part will be in those pink thicker juicy. Now I'm taking this off because I needed somewhere to ground that top portion of the title, and with that little strip underneath I really couldn't do it because it just gave it this really linear look. So what I did is I took off that bottom strip and I just put some washi there, and I felt like that was something that really grounded that top part of the title. So with that in place, I'm going to go ahead and lay my other alphas out. And once I get that done, I'm going to start trying to figure out how to embellish a little bit. And there's so many colors on this layout that I really didn't want to do a lot of embellishment. I just wanted it to be the papers on show, really. So one of the problem areas is that area to the left of the title, and so I'm just trying to figure out something that I can put in place there. And I have this gigantic flare that I really like, so I'm just going to kind of put it down there and just hold it for a second. So I go ahead and layer up another piece of pattern paper on that little 3x4 card with a strip of washi and a flare. And this photograph is from a crop that I went to this summer, and the theme was a beach theme. I decide that I don't really like that, so what I'm trying to do again is just trying to figure out somewhere to put this little journaling card. And I really like it, except again it kind of disappears, and for me the journaling and the photo are the most important pieces of the layout, so I'm going to keep working with that one. And what I decide to do with it again is to go ahead and back it on a sheet of black cardstock. And again, it just kind of gives it some weight and some presence on the page. Now once I get this adhered, I have a problem. right there, that little area where the photo and the journaling card don't quite line up, it just didn't look right to my eye. It just kind of looks like I wanted them to fit together, but I didn't quite make the mark. So I'm going to have to come in and fix that. And what I decided to do for that little area is to get some washi, I think. Yeah. I get some washi and another one of those flare badges, and I just put it down there. And it fixes it for me. So now I've pretty much got everything in place. I'm still looking at that side to the left of the title. And what I cut out here is a ton of just back and forth trying to figure out how to get that area filled in. And I put a million things down and none of them work. So at the end, I just come back to this original idea of the flare. Except I decide that the flare is a little bit boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my StazOn ink and I'm going to stamp on it. So I have this little stamp set from Gossamer Blue that has this little kind of scallop circle. So on my first attempt, it didn't really work very well, so I end up taking it off and I wipe it with just rubbing alcohol and the StazOn comes right off. And so I go off camera right here where I can see it without getting my head in the way, and I go ahead and stamp it again. I also think my StazOn pad is really, really dry. After I did that little scallop circle, I went in with the Heidi Swap Noted stamp and I just stamped right there on top. So I thought it was a good way to bring in the black as well. So here are some still shots, and thank you so much for joining me today, and I will have something new for you guys pretty soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.